Welcome back, critical thinkers. Today's TEK is G5B. Construct congruent segments, congruent angles, a segment bisector, an angle bisector, perpendicular lines, the perpendicular bisector of a line segment, and a line parallel to a given line through a point not on a line using a compass and a straight edge. This video covers constructing congruent segments, and our learning objective is to construct congruent segments and identify arc marks signifying the construction of congruent segments. You will know you have mastered this objective when you are able to actually construct congruent segments and look at a drawing and tell that congruent segments have been constructed just by noticing the arc marks. Every skill you learn in this video makes you a stronger problem solver. I know you can do this, so let's turn your practice time into your superpower. Before we actually start constructing segments that are congruent, let's look at the concept of what a congruent segment is. Congruent segments have the same size and the same shape. And so congruent, as you know, is written like this. It's an equal sign with a squiggly mark on top of it. So I have two line segments. I have MN here, and I have AT over here. Now, notice the three congruence markings on each of the segments. So since three congruence markings are here and they have the same color, to the three congruence markings here that have the same color, I know that these two line segments, line segment MN and line segment AT, have to have the same size and the same shape. Exact same shape, exact same size. So I can say that MN, line segment MN, is congruent to line segment AT. Now, knowing what congruent segments are, we are going to now look at how do we construct congruent line segments. And we're going to do that two different ways. We're going to use a safety compass, and then we are going to use a regular compass. Let's take a brief look at our safety compass. So you'll notice that the safety compass has this clear plastic wheel over here, and it also has this blue extended part right here. This is going to be our anchor point right in the center of that clear plastic wheel. So when we're doing our constructions, what we're going to do is we're going to place our pencil into this pivot point, is what it's called right here, and that's going to anchor our compass to a certain location on our paper. Then what we will do is we will take and place another pencil into the holes that we have here, and we will rotate the blue part up, or we'll rotate it down to create arc marks, or we could even create an entire circle. Looking at our compass, notice that the compass has letters that go up and down that blue section of our safety compass. And notice that usually every letter has two holes. So let's look at W. So if we're looking at W right here, there is a little line that basically designates a left side and a right side. So this would be the left hole, and this would be the right hole. When we do our constructions, we need to remember which hole we initially use so that we can repeat that when we do our second set of arc marks. So if we use the first hole on W, when we do our second arc mark, we need to place our lead pencil into this exact same hole in order to get an accurate construction, whatever that construction may be. So what we do is we place our lead pencil here, pencil in one of these holes here, and we rotate up or we rotate down. But that pencil that's here is anchoring the compass to the paper in this particular location. So with that knowledge, let's do a construction by creating a congruent segment. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a new segment that is going to be the same shape and the same size as segment AB that's right here. So our first step is to draw just a line segment. So what I'm going to do is draw a straight line going across. I'm going to put a point here, and this will be my point A prime. My next task is to take my compass. And so if you look at the compass, you'll notice that this piece right here is called our pivot point. So what we're going to do is we're going to anchor our pivot point on point A. Make sure that it is right there. And then what we're going to do is we are going to find the hole that is closest in our number of holes that go on this side, or it could be on this side right here. And we are going to find it. It looks like it's this one right here. So we are going to make an arc mark on the original segment here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this same compass setting with it being right here. The colored pencil is at B1 right here, and this is at our pivot point. We're going to place the pivot point over on the hole right here for A double prime, and we are going to come over here to B1, and we will make another arc mark. And right where the intersection point happens here, this is our B prime. AB and A prime, B prime are congruent segments. So I know that these two segments have the exact same shape and the exact same size. So I mark them with two congruent markings. You can mark it however, but I just want you to visibly be able to see that these two segments are congruent. And now I will write it as AB is congruent to A prime, B prime. And the way this is read would be line segment AB is congruent to line segment A prime and B prime. What we did was we took our compass, we placed the pivot point on A, and then we found the hole that was going to be closest to where B is located, and we found that to be at B1. I drew my arc mark here with my colored pencil. I then picked up my compass, moved the pivot point over to A prime, and then I put the colored pencil at this B1 setting here, and then I made another arc mark. And what happens is this segment right here becomes congruent to this segment right here because the arc marks are the same distance apart. You can also do constructions using a regular compass, and this is what a regular compass looks like. So there's some parts that I need to explain before we actually start doing the regular compass construction, and that is, notice that you have a pivot point right here. And so it's usually a sharp metal needle-like piece to your compass, and this becomes our anchor point for the compass. So this could go at the vertex of an angle, or it could go at the end point of a segment. Up here, we have the lead portion of our compass, and this is what's going to be making our arcs when we're doing our arcs for the construction. Now notice on this particular compass, you have these little turn knobs here. You don't want to mess with those. And the reason is because they're very fragile, and if you open them or close them, the lead falls out on this side, or the anchor point falls out on this side. And sometimes these are so fragile that they're easy to break. Now, another section that we need to look at is right here, this little turn knob. This knob makes the compass get bigger or smaller by turning it. So we will have to adjust our compass in order to make the compass bigger or smaller, to make the arc marks go out or come on in. And so we will be turning this part of our compass in order to adjust its size. Right here, this little knob at the top is the knob that we are going to hold onto when we draw our arc marks or draw a circle. We will be holding on to this position here. Now, with this knowledge, let's use our regular compass to do some constructions. We are going to create a congruent segment to XY using our compass and a straight edge. So when we're going to do this type of construction, we're just going to make a line segment. Just going to draw it right across the page, and I'm going to mark this as my X prime because it's my new X. And I'm going to take my compass, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the compass setting using the scroll bar here, and I am going to set my compass setting so that the pivot point on the compass goes on one end point, and then I want to make sure that the line and its end point are right at the edge of the compass. So I can draw an arc mark that's going to go through the new point that's on the end over here, Y. Okay? I'm going to now take that same compass setting. I'm going to come and place my pivot point right here on X prime, and I'm going to draw an arc mark of equal length to my XY up here. And where my new arc mark crosses the segment that I just drew, that intersection point becomes my new Y, or Y prime. So I know that XY is congruent to X prime, Y prime. Line segment XY is congruent to line segment X prime, Y prime. This here is my conclusion, and these are the two figures. Notice my arc mark here and my arc mark here. When you see arc marks similar to these on line segments, you know that we have created two congruent line segments. This is it for today's video. We really did do some great work today. If something doesn't make sense, this is your cue to ask questions. In fact, it's your responsibility to ask questions. You can come to me, you can talk with your classmates, your shoulder partners, even ask AI for step-by-step explanations. Please remember that we're a team here, and we're all here to help one another succeed. You learn best by breaking complex concepts down into smaller, more manageable skills. And that's exactly what we did here today in this video. You are turning your practice time into your superpower. Now, I believe in you, and I know that you can do this. You are working your way to success, learning one skill at a time. I want you to have a great day, and thanks for working with me.